Just imagine all this uncertainty, all this fear, all this everything around surrounding corona, and then we survive it, and then we come back and you're still scared to do the things you love just because someone will think something about you or judge you in a certain way, or just being scared of anything. I feel like when we survive corona, because we will, and we should take it as a second chance, as God giving us a second chance, and we should do all those things that we always put aside. We shall do, because this thing is scary. It's so scary, and yani just the thought that it could be me or you, and we could survive or you could not survive, and it's just something that feels so simple, like just a flu. And then if we survive, we should do better. Like, we should be better people. We should follow our dreams. We should conquer. We should not care what other people think about us, what people judge us, all that. We should be better people after this. Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. I hope you're all well and keeping safe and taking all the necessary precautions against this whole corona thing. Please stay safe. I hope that all of us will cross to the other side and will survive all this, and one of these fine days it will be a thing of the past. So today in this video, it's nothing much. I'm just going to talk about my thoughts about this whole thing, and these are not facts, these are not anything, these are just my personal thoughts. Or let's get right into the video. So what do I really think about COVID-19, coronavirus, the way you'd like to call it? Personally, I think that this thing has been here for a while, more than we know. Because can you imagine if the first Chinese was found positive for corona in 2019, sometime 2019, na kama kitu ina spread fast as it has been spreading in the past few weeks, and they've been traveling in and out of the country, so most probably this thing has been in Kenya earlier than February, when they claimed the first case and all that. So most probably it was here before. Alafu, did you guys notice, has anyone felt like wamesha geti corona waka survive without even knowing it? Because a few weeks ago there was like a weird flu and like a weird sore throat and me, I highly suspect that is corona. Not to scare you or anything, and as I said, these are just my personal thoughts. Me, I feel like that was corona. And just because you are not, you know how, like, I'm not being ignorant. I think I'm not being ignorant, but you know, sometimes when there's something, and then if you are not diagnosed, you'll be okay. And then nikama uko na cancer, but you didn't know. When they tell you today you have cancer, most probably tomorrow you'll be admitted out of nowhere. Me, I feel like corona piko hivyo. Most probably it was there somewhere, and we beat it to the immunity or whatever happened, and just some of us got it and it passed. And sasa venye imekuwa such a serious thing, and yani there's a lot of stigma around being positive and all that. Mtu akikuwa positive, I think all that fear, all that ina speed up process ya mtu kuwa sick na kuwa admitted na all that trauma. But personally, I think that it's such a traumatic experience, and just going through this has made me think about a lot of things. Like, can you imagine just a simple virus can literally conquer the whole world? And it might be a joke, memes or whatever, like people are calling it World War III, and it could be. Can you imagine just one thing, it may conquer like the whole world? And it's just as simple as a flu, spread through just simple ways. Not so simple, but yeah, it is very serious. And it got me thinking like, sometimes we take a lot of things for granted, and we should be more appreciative of the things that we have. We should be more appreciative of the opportunities we have. We should be more appreciative of God, because God can just decide to clear this whole world in just 2 months. Just that fast, and yeah, I think when we survive corona, I hope we'll be better people. I hope our leaders will be better. I hope everything will be better. I hope it will be a better place. I hope we'll think about the poor. I hope we'll think about those people who sleep hungry. I hope some people will be less greedy. I hope we learn. I hope we learn from all this. Just the fact that it's so scary, it's so traumatic that in one day, like, a country can just lose 2,000 people in one day from. It's so scary. It's so scary. Something else that I think about this whole thing is, like, first of all, we should stop this stigma around coronavirus, like mtu akishikwa na corona, ama just the possibility, ama when someone sneezes in public, it becomes a whole thing. That trauma is really bad, because first of all, and again, these are my personal thoughts, not anyone else's words or anything. These are just my personal thoughts, because usually a virus has no real cure, because even a vaccine is just like medicine to boost your immunity to fight it out, but not at it to heal the disease. So even if a vaccine comes, we should know that we will live with this corona thing for a while. If you've read the history and ama unasomanga gazeti, it's been in the papers, like hizo flu zenye zimeconquer the world in the past, like Spanish flu and nini, they've been 4, and 3 out of those, kama Daily Nation iliniambia ukweli, zili originate from China. I am not being racist, I'm segregating, but okay, I thought you should know. Well, so basically what my point is, a virus does not really have a cure. Ni kama HIV virus ama any other virus, azikwangi na cure. So one thing that we should know is corona, we will live with it for a while. Like, itafika mali kwele kama homa, unakuwa mgonjwa, unameza dawa, una move on hivyo. I hope it will get to a point where the mortality rate will be so low, like even 0, hopefully, that we can just continue our normal lives living with it, So yeah, I feel like we should brace ourselves and we should stop being too scared. I feel like we should just take all the necessary precautions that are being said everywhere. Just clean our hands, maintain social distancing, 1 meter away, all that. Avoid interacting with people's fluids, wear masks, all that for as long as possible. But also we should take the precautions, such as taking in vitamin C and all that, just to stay safe for the future. I hope I make sense anyway. So yeah, so I feel like we shall live with this corona for a while, and yeah, I think I've repeated that so many times by now. I'm not saying this to scare anyone, or I am not saying this out of ignorance. I am also saying this from a point of faith, because this whole thing cannot last for too long. First of all, our economy cannot allow it, like our mental whatever cannot allow it. We just cannot. This thing needs to end like yesterday. But for now, I also feel like there's a lot of stigma surrounding corona, and I feel like it should stop, but it's difficult when you're dealing with a lot of people. Like, it's so difficult, because saizi, like, when you just cough in public, especially sisi watu wa allergies, it is so stigmatizing. When you just sneeze, maybe something, maybe hata ni dust trigger sneeze yako, everyone just turns and looks at you. There's so much stigma around it. But I feel like, as much as we are being told to take all the necessary precautions, which we should very seriously, I feel like we should also get more information about it and just stop the stigma. Because me, I feel like just because of the stigma, mtu akwa diagnosed leo atakufa tu in like a week, or just because of the stigma, the fear, just imagining, anyway, you get my point. Another thing, the way like this whole thing has just hit the world, and it has changed a lot of things. Our lives have almost stopped. Me, I'm very grateful that he quarantine, I'm not in like full self quarantine, ama yo stay at home like full time, because ninge cheesy. Just these 4 days that Eastern, me feel like it has been so long. I've watched everything. Nimezunguka kwa bed, nimekaa kila mahali. It's so frustrating, and I can only imagine the people who are at home like full time. It must be frustrating, and my heart goes to everyone who is at home full time, and I just hope that we shall overcome this together. So this whole thing has brought a lot of mixed feelings. Like, my worst fears have just been activated, and I just have great appreciation for a lot of things. And guys, let me just share with you my worst fears that yani I've just realized when this whole thing came about. My first worst fear is losing loved ones. Guy, that thing is traumatic. And you can imagine, like, when you lose someone to corona, ama tu when you lose someone this whole period, like this period, yani you can't even mourn them in peace. Yani there's a lot of rules. You can't do travel, you can't. May God help us. I am so scared. Yani just the thought of losing someone close to me, like family, friends, to this thing, ama at this time, yani it scares the hell out of me. And that is one of my worst fears that I'm dealing with right now. And did you guys watch that video of that KPA guy who passed on alafu akakuwa buried kwa Siaya? That must be a very traumatic experience for that family, because yani imagine one yesterday someone is fine, I'm travel all the way from coast coming, and then suddenly they are diagnosed of corona. Less than 24 hours later they are dead. And then the way he was buried, yani those people, guy, inakaa kama movie ya Walking Dead ama inakaa kama nini surely. So yani even this family were not given time to mourn. So these people came with the body, like watu na I think ni wagava who are dealing with this thing. They came with the body at around, I hear it was 2 a.m. though from the video it was like night kabisa, like it was so dark. So they came with the body at 2 a.m. sorry, and then they just drove in, and then they had already made the grave, and it was just so shallow. Alafu they just grabbed the body, pulled it out, and then threw it. It was so sad. I feel like that family did not participate in all that, because I don't think hata kama kuna poverty ama nini, I don't think there's a family who'd like to bury their loved one like that. At least they would have been given a chance to just buy a coffin or something. And then the grave was so shallow. Personally, I was traumatized by that video. I hope all of you guys watched that video. But personally, I was very traumatized, and I can only imagine what the family went through. So initially, of course, I had those fears. Now this video just worsened everything, and I just pray to God, yani, may all of us just go through this, because I cannot imagine losing a loved one, or know someone who loses a loved one to all this. It must be a painful and traumatic experience, and I'm so sorry to that family. I hope they find peace, because that was sad. And then another thing that scares me with this whole thing is people just losing their livelihoods. It's sad, especially the hotel industry, and yani some people just lost their jobs within the first week of this thing. Yani venye story ya quarantine ilikam nini, people were already starting to lose their jobs. Yani it's so sad, you guys, it's so sad. Yani maybe you are the breadwinner, so today you have a source of livelihood, you have your dreams, you have plans and all that, then suddenly you have nothing, and then you have to start job hunting again. The uncertainty of it all, yani you don't know how long this thing is going to be. Maybe you have family to take care of, you have school fees, you have rent, you have, gosh, I pray that we just go through all this, and may God help us. Yani as much as we are going through this whole thing as the whole world, as a country, I know that there are people that are more affected than others, and my heart goes out to such people. Yeah. And then another fear that I have is how the economy will be affected. And of course, not everyone will be affected the same way, and I'm just so scared that yani there will be a lot of famine, a lot of poverty, a lot of joblessness, which will lead to a lot of, like, hizo stories of robbery and all that. And I can only pray to God and just hope that we shall go through all this and overcome. Yeah, and then yani apart from sasa all my fears, those are my three biggest fears that I can think of right now that this whole corona thing has brought. So apart from that, I'd like to talk about the things that I have appreciation for due to all this. I know sometimes we as human beings tunahitaji something that shakes you so that you can appreciate a few things. Where I appreciate just spending quality time with my family and friends, and I work in an environment where I meet a lot of people and there's a lot of people in and out, and right now my workplace looks like a ghost town, and now I appreciate and I really miss those times. I really miss the times that we could just hang out, hug in peace, just go out, have some drinks. I actually miss going out to the club and just dozing off. I really miss those times, just going to a restaurant, having a meal, just being able to visit people and just, oh my God, I miss all that. I miss just having fun. I miss just being at peace. I miss not worrying about people so much. And in general, of course, I always worry about my family and all that, but now it is so scary. And one thing I really appreciate also is the fact that most of my family members and friends are just at home, like walianza story ya work from home kitambo, and that gives me a bit of peace because honestly mimi personally I would prefer, I cannot I cannot stand seeing a loved one suffer. Like I'd rather be in that position than a loved one. I don't know if I'm making sense, but yeah. So I really appreciate, and I just pray that everyone who is watching this video, I hope you're all safe. I hope your family members are safe, because I've lost loved ones before, and I cannot imagine losing a loved one again. And this whole corona thing, ni kama it's just something that is just there. It's like predator that is just there waiting to swallow someone. Now it inactivate your fear, just the fear that just a simple thing could expose your loved ones. And then how venye ati mtu akikuwa expose sahii, ukimwona senye ambulance itamchukua, probably you'll never see them again. If they make it, you'll see them, but if they don't, they go, if in case they pass on, the government takes over and then they have to be buried within 48 hours. Oh my God, I don't know if I can survive that, but I pray I hope and pray that I will not have to pass through that, and I pray that you who's watching this video will not have to go through that. So yeah, those are my thoughts about all this, and I hope after this we have, after I hope after we survive this whole thing, we intend to be amazing people. We intend to be kind. We intend to live our lives like to the fullest. We intend to follow our dreams. We intend to just be the best versions of ourselves, and let's intend to judge people less and just be so determined with things and be so appreciative of the things that we already have. And I've talked quite much. I was hoping this video could be a bit shorter, but yeah, it is what it is. Please stay safe, and we will go through this. We shall triumph. And I am not saying this from a position of ignorance, but I'm saying this from a position of faith, and we will be okay, and we'll be looking back and being grateful. And I hope I've seen the memes and all that, but it makes sense. Mungu anajaribu kutuonyesha we have so much that we don't appreciate, and things can just end in a flash, because most of us had dreams for this year and plans and all that. Things have just stopped. I can only imagine what when they live from hand to mouth, and they have to leave the house every day to go to the market and sell stuff. And I can only imagine like people who their livelihoods are our businesses like hotels, events, and all that. I can only imagine what they're going through, but we shall triumph, we shall be okay, and it will all pass. So I hope this video was not so sad, and I hope you are informed. I hope it got you thinking. I hope it's also entertaining as well. Thank you so much for watching. It's always a pleasure. Bye.